Do you guys hear that? To me, it sounds the same.
It's working.
It's working?
It's fine.
Maybe it's a...
If Jim can hear it, it's working.
Okay. All right. If you guys would like, you guys can move closer to me.
It's
I
like in
promise I
church.
won't poke you guys or do anything else.
This is like in church.
Okay. Okay.
No, he's like high school.
Yeah.
Back row, the bus.
All right. We're gonna do I usually do a quick prayer, then we do the pledge. Okay. And then we'll get into it, and then I'll give you guys the rules of engagement, right? So if we can please stand. Lord Father, we thank you for this beautiful morning. We thank you for the people that are here. We thank you for all the great things that are happening in our city. We pray for our first responders. We pray that you continue to help us with all the difficulties that we're also going through. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. If we can please pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so I see some new faces, which is great. I love it. You guys can please sit. Rules of my town hall are very simple. I do very little talking. I hear mostly from you guys what your concerns are. So this is my third year doing the senior town annual town hall. So whatever your concerns are, this is what I'm here to do. If you need a response, all I would need you to do is make sure that I have your contact information so I can take it back to our city manager and he can talk to staff so I can get you guys a response. So we can open it up to you guys now. I'll go down the aisles. Some of you already know how I do that, and just feel free to ask your questions. If I have a response, I will give it to you. If I don't, I'm not going to lie to you. I will tell you I don't have a response. Okay? Actually, we can use this one. If you have any questions, concerns, it's a pretty open town hall.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. What is the best way we as citizens of our city can help in any way to counter or diffuse a lot of the craziness that goes on in our city commission meetings? Is there anything in media or anything else we can do that could possibly quell the shrill voices and so forth that seem to keep us from settling into reason and a collective vision?
It's a great question. And that one, of course, you respond because that's not a staff question. I don't know the full answer to that, right? I think a lot of, from the dais perspective, a lot of it is us kind of growing up and acting more like adults, right? And trying to come together for the betterment of our city. As far as residents go, I mean, that's been getting so much better. I mean, residents usually come and, you guys have rightful complaints, you guys, have concerns, and I've seen the disrespectfulness kind of diminish a lot. Right? I haven't seen a lot of that keep going, but I think workshops help, kind of help diffuse some of those issues. I think with working on increasing, I wanted to swap the times. I wanted the workshops to be 4 minutes for residents because I think that's where you need the most dialogues, but I think we landed at 3 minutes. I think having those dialogues with residents and the commission helps a lot. I think scheduling meetings with your commissioner or with myself or the mayor, that helps so much more as well. I've been able to sit across people where we couldn't agree on something, but we have such a great dialogue and debate. And sometimes we both leave saying, we can't agree on it, but at least we know where each of us stand on a certain item. That needs to happen a lot more. I think the biggest way to diffuse any of the silliness is a lot more communication. So I think that's one of the ways. And if you guys have more ideas than that, please email me, text me, call me, and let me know what else we can do. So, what else?
Just what's in my heart, just these past days, and this is a surprise for me because I was thinking that where I come from upstate New York, the city hall had every month have one day as a prayer breakfast meeting at the city hall. And I was wondering when I was about to call you to ask you if you can consider that possibility that a special a group of clergy of different denominations we can come together once a month and pray for you for the city, the well-being of everybody.
So I can tell you that we do have a group of folks that come and they go to City Hall because it's a public place and they pray outside. I know that every year they host a prayer breakfast in different areas. I know it's being organized now as we speak. I don't mind participating in it, but as far as the city doing it, I know that one of the other commissioners organized a day of prayer, I guess, when the whole situation in the Middle East was happening, and the city is still currently in litigation. There is some differences of ideas, what the definition of separation between church and state, and then you have some folks that believe that elected officials should not be speaking about religion, but what the Constitution, the Federalist, anti-Federalist papers talk about, where the government shouldn't be imposing a religion, which is what it is. I mean, that's my interpretation of it. So I don't mind participating in it. I'm a person of faith. I don't shy away from it. I tell people, and I also respect the people that aren't. So, sorry.
My name's Scott Kaufman. Two things, if I may.
Yes, please.
First one, you recently posted opening for an ordinance review committee. One, when the selection is going to be made and the results are going to be publicized. Two, the traffic enforcement issue. In the neighborhood, my wife and I, we walk regularly. There's no sidewalks where we do walk a lot, and people are speeding. They came out and did a traffic monitor, and the results, they were provided and told me that they had to be going 20 or 12 miles per hour over the speed limit, as well as at least 80 to 85% of the people traveling had to be speeding for any enforcement to be done. I don't understand.
I believe I was in that email. I believe you emailed me initially, or I asked you to email me initially. Yes.
That explains our road.
So yeah, unfortunately, I'll get more information just so you know on staff specifically on that, right? I know that has to do a lot with the sheriff's office, and I'm not placing the blame on them. From what I'm being told, and again, I'll be in contact again with you to get a more clear definition as to why we have those thresholds and maybe changing them. But people see those little strips on the floor, it's like something in them, it's like they automatically slow down. So the regular speeder that'll go through at 50 miles per hour on a 35 mile per hour zone, they'll tend to slow down because they don't know if it's what type of a thing it is. They feel the tuk-tuk and they slow down. It's an unfortunate situation. But to answer your first question, I know with this budget season coming up, one of the biggest concerns that I know I've pushed, right, and I know a lot of the other commissioners have as well, is sidewalks and our infrastructure. Whether it's stormwater, whether it's roads. As a matter of fact, I brought up just on Monday, making sure that we're not repaving the same roads over and over. And I understand the use determines that, but there's a gentleman actually just dropped off the name of a road. He's been here since 2007, I think he said. His road hasn't been repaved not even once. But a road that's right by his has been repaved like twice. So we're trying to figure that out. Okay, so sidewalks I know we have a lot in the budget. I'm working on getting more grants through the state and the federal government because there are projects that you can use that for. On the CRA side, we can also try to apply some of that there. But let me get with the sheriff and with some of our staff to figure out why they're using that matrix or that formula to calculate that. I know personally, I brought in staff to obviously with the city manager's permission, to look at Fort Smith and, what's the name of that street now? Newmark. It sometimes, depending on the time of day, you sit there for like, believe it or not, 30 minutes to make a turn.
You have to go around the block and come in.
It's faster, yes, so we avoid that street. But it's not only that one, if you drive by Portland Boulevard, going towards Doral Road, people fly down there. There's a skate park right there with kids. People fly down that road like it's Daytona 500. So when you guys have those things, you'll send me the email. I usually send it to the sheriff. They'll do a speed trap for a few days, but that's a problem. It's a very momentary relief, right? It only calms it for. It doesn't even calm it for a week. It calms it for like a day or two. That's it.
Speed too.
So
I'm on East Cooper,
okay.
and a lot of kids walk that street to go to school, to school bus stops, okay? And I know for a fact, people are going 45 and 50 miles an hour easy. And it's a 30 miles zone. My wife and I walk every day, and you know it's frightening to have vehicles go by you at that speed, not knowing whether or not they're paying attention.
Do you have sidewalks on one side or just
we have none.
on neither side?
And they won't put a bump because there's no sidewalks, and they're afraid that people will go around it.
Well, then, yeah. So I will tell you, speed bumps. Our first responders are very adamantly against the speed bumps, for the simple fact that if you're in an ambulance ride and you're trying to get somebody to say, I understand some of that, right? Maybe inside more of the inner streets, I think that there should be some type of variance for that, but I understand why they don't want it. Before you leave, again, I have a little paper over there, if you can just give me your address, okay. And what I'll do is, I'll see if we can take a look at your street to see why there's no sidewalks. How close is the school to you? Because there's a state statute that says if there's a school within a certain vicinity, you need at least one side of the road to have sidewalks.
There's a new neighborhood that's been built, and the school's right on the edge of it, and it's right next to us, basically.
Let's get together and see if we can look at it. Because one of the other things is not only having sidewalks. You go down Providence Boulevard, tell me how good that works. We had one person killed and the other person hospitalized, a pet died. The sidewalks need to be raised. I don't know why we're not raising sidewalks, because if I think the car that hit that family was in a BMW, those cars are usually really low. They hit the bump, they're gonna stop being idiots and get off their phones and pay attention. And we would have probably saved their life, so.
What about rumble strips? Then the service vehicles wouldn't be affected.
I never thought about that.
That's a good
Well,
idea.
we were driving down in South Florida, down Nero, and drove me crazy,
But there'd be sections.
but there were
Sections of that.
all the way down there.
You mean like on 995, they have that one
No.
strip?
Yeah, on 95, but even when you got off,
Okay.
we were going down to the Cleveland Clinic, and the roads, I'm just going, well, this is a great idea, because Montecito is like one of the very few straight roads through neighborhoods, and it's 30 miles an hour, and people will just, I mean, we walk, but we have sidewalks.
Yeah. Do you mind emailing me that?
Yeah,
Sure.
yes. Rumble strips are non-invasive for emergency vehicles,
Yeah.
but enough to make people go.
I honestly never thought of that.
They're relatively cheap too, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Pesci.
Well, we're about piggyback off of Mr. French's comments. City meetings. I'd love to see public comment become part of the meeting, not separated from it. Again, if the main thing is, a lot of us have things to say to you guys that we feel are important, we'd like to have recorded. The city is not recording our public comments as a thing outside. To set precedent, not the city manager on that concern.
Correct. So the public comments are being recorded. You can ask for them. They're not being televised. That's the difference. So I will tell you, obviously, if it's an item on the agenda, you are more than welcome to come and speak about it. The issue that we're having as a city, right? And I know some people don't like what I'm about to say, but I'm going to stand firm on my belief on this. Since we have taken public comment off of YouTube, Facebook, I know some residents still stream it, that's perfectly fine. The amount of people coming to do the screaming, the yelling, it has been completely reduced, right? I have no issue. listen, I keep telling this to people. You have an issue with your bills, you have an issue, that's perfectly fine. You're petitioning your government for redress of grievances, right? That's part of the First Amendment. But when you're coming to the commission, you're saying, you know, you're a streetwalker, you're trash, and you need to go to hell. We're adults. And unfortunately, we're all paying for, let's call it what it is, the 3 or 4 people that do it. That's it. So I am seeing, even with the amount of people that I've been speaking with, I've seen more businesses, which is what I've been focusing on, commercial growth, want to come to the city of Deltona. I mean, I won't say the names, but I mean, we got at least 4 like legitimate restaurants. Now, I'm not talking about fast food, I'm not talking about Dairy Queen or Culver's, the ones that have already been announced. Like 4 of them legitimately that, I mean, maybe if they come to the commission meeting, they'll be like, no, you guys haven't fixed some of your issues, but that feel like we've grown up in that aspect, that they've seen that go away. And that's just perception, because sometimes it's still there, but at the same time, I mean, I haven't seen you guys in a bit, but I know you guys watch, right? I know a lot of people watch. And people have told me, Mayor, it's gone a lot. And so that's the reason why I haven't pushed for that. I have pushed for it to be recorded. So they are recorded, you just have to ask for them as a public record. That's it. I appreciate that. Him I'm afraid of. After he got his beekeeper logo.
The public input needs to be looked at, because the way that it's set up now, it's like, you know, I'm a regular, but I usually go there to certain subjects. I look at the agenda and I'm like, I'd like to say something about that. And then the ones that I didn't plan on saying something about, issues come up. And I haven't put in my request to talk because I didn't plan on talking about it. But I had to wait until the people on the dais had their squabbles or whatever before I had something to say about it, and I can't do anything. So I kind of like to have that looked at. It's along the same lines of what you were saying, and it's the French. The only other thing is I accidentally got on a page. We had some problems with Spectrum, and what I do is, instead of watching it on TV, I'll put it on my iPad or my phone and I'll stream it to my TV. Well, when I did that on my iPad, up comes this thing that says that I can put in comments and questions and chat, and I was like, wow, when did that come about? And then, of course, I connected to it and I couldn't get back to it. Is that a thing, or was I mistaken?
So I think that's on a YouTube mobile platform thing, if I'm not mistaken. I'll get back to you on that question specifically.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Like Google Meetings, or Microsoft Meetings, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I've always objected to is, okay, if you're disabled like me, and you can't make it there this bad weather or whatever, I just watch on TV. I watch you guys all the time. I feel like a boy. So, but it's like, how do I communicate? Now, if you get into the whole reasonable accommodation, maybe blah, 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 I should be able to, and I've seen other places, like Windermere, you can dial in and you can put it in the chat, and if need be, you can talk to any public comments over the internet. I'd like to see that developed, because
Okay.
that would make my life a whole lot easier.
I'll take that to staff. I will tell you, a lot of the pains that Deltona has suffered has been so many years of the consistent turnover, not only from the city manager, but from directors and things like that. And I believe we have a horrible, I admit it, we have a horrible communication situation. And I know PIO is trying their very best to fix things. Good example, not this Monday, the prior Monday, or maybe it was this Monday, we had a storm, it hit, power surge, took out the AC unit, and then it took out the whole network. I believe staff was without being able to do certain things for like a day or two. we just need, with the stability that we're having now, and I hope we continue to have, that all those things should be kinked out. But to your point, we also need residents like you to say, hey, I stumbled on this. Is there a way you can tell us as a community how easy could it be, or a direct link to get in there, how we can communicate? And then if you do have a question that you would like asked, how can that be done where you can put it in as a part of your accommodation and the question can be asked?
And the other thing I was wondering was, can somebody take a look at, with their constructing the roads? I have a friend who did almost all of the retention ponds in Volusia County and did a lot of the roads too. Matter of fact, he built a good portion of Howland Avenue. And whenever he's with me, we're driving around, he starts pointing out how they cheapen materials on this, which is why that's happening. Like that intersection where the McDonald's is, where the hospital is, up near I-4 in Howland.
By Graves.
The entire, before they repaved it, the entire top layer was shifting. And he told me why it was shifting. It's like they didn't put down tar before they put it on. We've noticed a number of times over the years, these bevels, wherever we have a drain inlet. And that's because when they put it in after they're done, it's supposed to tamp down the road. That's why they have steamrollers. That's also why they have little mobile units that just bang the sand off as hard as they can. I take a look like in my front yard. When I first moved in, I had 3-inch rock on tar. And it was solid as rock, nothing ever happened to it. 8 years later, they finally paved my road. And since they've paved it, nice brand new road, kids used to come from far and wide, roller skate down there. And what happens now is it's cracked all over the place, mainly I think because of the garbage trucks. So that's why I'm wondering about the quality of what they're doing when they put these roads down. Because like, okay, where I grew up on Long Island, we had Hempstead Turnpike. It got a tenth the traffic that Howland did, but it was basically the same road, two lanes each side. They never had to repave that road.
Yeah.
But Howland's only been there for like what, 8-10 years, and it's falling apart. Now that, to me, that reeks of somebody skipped a step. That's why I kind of like to have somebody take a look into that and find out, well, what are they not doing?
I'll get with Public Works. I'll get with Public Works so we can get with the county, because that's a county road, to see what the procedures and processes they're using to do that, to do specifically Howland. And then Public Works can obviously tell us what they're doing for the other roads. So, I mean, I know there's ways to get things fixed. I mean, everybody here remembers, I know it's long forgotten. If you drive on Normandy between Saxon and Providence, at points you would lose your transmission. That the whole discussion was with the former prior city manager was that whole road needed to be ripped out and needed to be redone, and it was always a thing for years. And then we finally sat down, and that was my discussion with Chisholm. Can we stop using excuses? Like, what is it that we need to get done? And all of a sudden, I get a call one morning and says, hey, can you come? And I'm sitting there and I'm seeing them redo the thing. I saw the guys out there tampering the floor down. They didn't have to rip anything up. It was just a petty project from a different city manager who wanted to rip the roads up. Well, it wasn't really necessary. So I'll ask them what the procedures are.
Last issue.
Yeah.
We have certain areas that get the grass mowed on contract, right?
I can ask. I believe we do have contractors, and then I believe we have city staff.
What do I have to do in order to get a look at those contracts?
I can ask to see it shouldn't be an issue. It should be public record. Everything with government should be public record.
Yeah, they're usually, like every 9 days, they're supposed to be cut and stuff like that. But there's some spots where I guarantee you,
Somebody's
it's sitting for a month.
Okay.
So I kind of wanted to monitor that and put a little flame into the gas of whoever got the money for the contract.
I think I can, I'll ask to see if I can get you that contract. It should be public.
Next.
I have some
The lady.
questions. Oh. I have several questions. First of all, thank you for everybody coming out. This is nice. This is my first time attending.
Thank you for coming.
And I have some questions regarding some flooding issues on Doyle
Okay.
and also on Portland. Is there anything being done on this? I mean, this has been
Yes. So Doyle, what area specifically?
Doyle
By the school?
yes.
Okay. So that road obviously it's a county road, but I will tell you, I can say this publicly, I've taken the initiative. I've reached out to our county councilman, I reached out to a school board member, Mr. Colon, and a lot of residents don't know this, or a lot of people, I didn't know this. School boards are exempt from following certain building protocols. Doesn't mean that they're nefariously doing something, right? But that school put the retention pond in a wrong location instead of where it should have been. If you drive by there now, you should see it, because I drove by there yesterday. I trust but verify. I saw a big crane, there's a big crane there, and they're trying to fix that situation so it should not be flooding. I should be getting an update sometime next week from our county councilman on his side on if they're thinking of elevating the road, and because I think they have to go through a grant process. What part of Portland are you talking?
Portland by, in between Doyle and Fort Smith.
Okay, so that area there
That
too.
lake right there,
So there, I know which one you're talking about. So on Fort Smith, I know we received about $2 million for grant funding to elevate that road on Fort Smith. We're also
from
waiting,
where to where?
I'm sorry?
From where to where?
I can get you that information. I don't have the information
Okay.
on it, but I'll be more than happy to provide it to you. I know that our city's infamous for doing studies and then not moving forward. So when we finish with the study that they're currently on, there's things in place now which we're gonna be forced to move forward on some of the situations that we have over the lakes. I'm not an engineer. My opinion is we should re-engineer our lakes so they flow better, properly. And then also, we only have one outfall, essentially. And the goal is, and this is, from my understanding from other commission meetings, we should have more than one outfall, right? So it's figuring that out. I know that currently the city manager is working with the county manager to see if we can redirect some of when we have heavy water, if we redirect it to a different place. On top of that, we're working with St. John's River Management to make sure that we're able to continue to have the weir open when it gets to a certain level, and we can maintain it. There was a lawsuit, it's a long story, but there was a lawsuit that involved some folks with waterfront property. And I'll just publicly say, because she's admitted to it, one of them doesn't care if residents that didn't have waterfront property have it now. Well, I care. So, yeah, exactly. I mean, they used to have a really beautiful garden in the back, and now I don't even want to get it restarted because
It looks like a moonscape instead of the park.
so there are legitimate things that are being done. I'm gonna say this, and I don't think this is a stretch. I think between now and next year, maybe 14 months, you guys will all start seeing probably 10, 11 different infrastructure water projects coming up. Because we have in our budget enough money. I think we have like 20 projects we want to work on. We have enough to work on the first 10 to 11 of them, and those should be done with, or started or done between now and the next 18 months.
Okay, great. My next question is on the 415 by the Walmart there. I've been seeing signs there that car wash. First it was on the right-hand side, okay, for a long time. And then now it's on the left-hand side and it's kind of been dormant. What's the status on that?
I don't pay attention to signs. If you guys can remember, we've had a hotel coming soon sign on the other side of the city. I will say, I can officially say there is one already signed up. We're getting 2 hotels in that corner, so that's great.
On the corner of
But-
Fighters.
That's on by where the hospital, Halifax Hospital is.
Oh, okay.
So that's that corner. Going back to your corner, I have seen that sign, even though I don't pay attention to it, but I've seen the sign transit. It's almost like you're walking across the street. Now, I think if it's not the same sign, I believe it's closer to Pine Ridge now. It's a car wash sign there now. So honestly, I don't pay attention to signs. I don't think and that's gonna be a code enforcement issue. We need to be able to regulate that because all that's doing is blighting the city, to be very sincere. In that corner, from my understanding, so Halifax owns that corner on 415 and Halifax Boulevard. They own a piece of property there. They are thinking of putting an urgent care there for now. It's really needed in that corner. That corner of the city has nothing. And then I've been trying to bring in some more retail, restaurant specific, but retail, not dollar stores. Sorry, somebody from the dollar store was here. So I have a pet peeve. Smoke shops, dollar stores, and storage facilities. We have more than enough. I'm a big capitalist person and all that, but I think we're if you guys go to Portland Boulevard and Fort Smith and you go into that plaza, I go there because it's a pediatric center. Every single shop is a smoke shop.
Yeah, yes.
I don't know how they compete with each other.
Yeah, so do you see in the future, or in the near future, anything happening by the Walmart there on Howland at 415?
There is. I would venture to say in the next 2 years we might see something. Right now the hospitals are kind of going into a competition war with each other. You have Orlando Health that's been trying to get in. I'm guilty of talking to them because I want to bring a children's maternity hospital specifically to Deltona. They decided to open a mini hospital in Orange City, so that's
Okay, are they gonna continue building more apartments?
That's going to depend on the commission. So I will tell you, I've been pushing commercial development, not residential development. In an area where a downtown could go, or an uptown, whatever you want to call it, there could be some room for some mixed use, which means commercial, first 2 floors, whatever, and some residential on top. But full out commercial housing building like that, I don't think there's an appetite, not only from the diet, but from the residents period. So.
I know you can't disclose the restaurants, as far as the names, but can you disclose the areas?
Here's what I can do. Here's what the restaurants that I have pursued, right? And some of those are no longer being pursued because they've said no. And you guys are smart enough, you'll figure it out. And when they start popping up, then you'll know. So I will tell you the one and only fast food restaurant I've gone after is Chick-fil-A. 100%.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna just step on it now and I'm gonna tell you we're gonna get a Chick-fil-A. I'm not gonna tell you where, but we're gonna get it.
Okay.
I've pursued Bahama Breeze. I've pursued Cracker Barrel. I know with all the crazy discussion, I know I have to. I pursued Cracker Barrel. There's been there's one that I really can't talk about, but I'm trying to think who else I can mention. We'll leave it there. You have an idea.
Yeah.
I can tell you that because we've lost them already. We were very close to landing Costco and Sam's.
Really?
Very close. As a matter of fact, we were probably going to get the Sam's because they moved from one area to another. Either where the hospital was or where that new Synergy place was because they left a little thing for a big box store. Just some people don't know how to just stay quiet until things are signed. So I worked on that 21 months. And now it's not going that far. It's going to unincorporated Volusia just on the other side.
A sample.
Yeah. It's public. They've already announced that they're going. And then Costco is considering coming to us in one of the locations Sam's didn't get. So they ended up just signing off with Seminole where the old mall was. So that they made that official too. So.
Yeah. Wow.
With the Sam's, the developer got really he got irate with the Thias and kind of told Sam's, I'm not going to deal with this anymore. Just go wherever you want. So.
In what part of Volusia is that?
It's right across. If you take Howland down and it starts becoming like a state road, it's right down that area. It's an unincorporated village.
Where all the oak trees are now gone.
Is that where they're going?
That's probably where it's at. I don't have the exact address, but I mean, it should be public. We should be able to see where.
Just, yeah, you can see.
Well, what about the street lights?
I'll come to you.
What about the street lights? Like, I've noticed like on Portsmouth, I don't know if they, how recent have they, been looked at as far as for the brightness of the lights?
I can ask, I don't know what that is.
Cause they're not very bright.
I know that there's a move for something called dark skies. I think I only heard one other person, which was former Commissioner Lully, mention it. But there's a move where lights down, not all over the place. I'll ask that question, I don't know. The most I've done with lights recently, I've been working with Duke and FPL to try to get our lights brought, or our power poles brought underground for the main thoroughfares. Just because it's safer for hurricanes. Everything has an up and down side. If it's an area that's extremely flooded, you have to wait a couple days, but the majority of the time, in the areas that I was looking at, there's really very little flooding to no flooding, so that's a perfect area where you can bring that down. Because if you drive down Saxon Boulevard, I'll give you that example, right before you cross the bridge to Orange City, all of our power lines, they crisscross. It looks like spider webs for some reason. Then you cross Orange City and everything's straight. I don't know. Maybe they try to save money. I don't know what the reasoning behind that is. But let me get Mr. Pesha and then I'm going to Mr. Pesha.
One of my favorite topics, Lakeshore Drive, Old Community Center.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand the boat ramps are about 18 months away, and maybe even more after that. But the Old Community Center, yes, we have the center, we have the luncheon, but we don't have a community center.
It's
We
open.
had that.
It's open. That's open. You can use it. You can rent it. Where we've had some issues in that area now, because I know I've inquired on it, we don't have an employee to staff it, right? And we just got rid of like 13 positions, and rightfully so. They were going in the budget and they were not being fulfilled because we couldn't get people to actually apply for them, certain of them. But that's opened. I know some of the seniors, I don't know what the contract is. I can find that information out, but they want to leave the COA here.
Mhm.
So I can try to ask, what about having a secondary senior center? But
Well, not only a senior center, but a community center. Activity points where we can go down and utilize it as a city function. Like Mary has a beautiful community center where they have activities that any citizen can go to and participate.
I can ask. I don't know. I don't have a direct answer to it, but I can ask. I know that the Lakeshore thing is, they're going to put it back to the way they found it. That was their agreement. It's either we take you to litigation and we both spend a lot of money we shouldn't, or you can leave it how you found it, and then we could pay you to finish the job on the repiping to where we needed the pipe to go so we can do the cut project. But we're also working with St. John's River Management to see if we can work on maybe doing something else further down. That boat ramp is so small, and that road is crocodile, and it's a county road. There's not really much we can do. You have the folks that are in the apartments right there that are very concerned, rightfully so, and they want it back to the way it used to be. But if we can have like a secondary boat ramp where the road is kind of a little bit further back, so we're not getting people into accidents, it's going to work better. But again, let's get that one to where it used to be, because it's been a long time. And full disclosure, I met with some folks to make sure we had it in Sanford to see if we have sister city agreements, and we do. And I mean, I would love for us, while we figure out our whole entertainment stuff, for us to do trolleys back and forth to Sanford to enjoy their downtown while we figure out our component. And they're willing to do it. I mean, there needs to be an economic benefit for both, but we have the agreements in place. Other mayors and city commissioners have thought about it, so it's not my idea. But there's good components there, but we need that boat ramp fixed for any of that to happen.
At one time, I thought I heard something mentioned about the Coast Guard station being down there.
So the Coast Guard, the Coast Guard Auxiliary did approach me. They wanted to see if we could do something there. That's really not my call. It's a whole commission type of ordeal. I gave it to the city manager to see if he wanted to even put it on the agenda. The issue that we have is the boat ramp is closed right now. Before we even start thinking about the future, we need to take care of the present. So once that's taken care of, I'm sure that'll be brought back up. It's not a bad idea. It's a great idea to, house the Coast Guard there, whatever emergency we might have. They don't need a big space. And it could work even for if we end up having ferries coming in and out. You have the Coast Guard there. I think that would be a great attraction. I'll come back to you.
Real quick on your code compliance office, is there, I don't know how they keep track of tickets that they, or warnings that they cite. For the residents though, I talked with Doc and he was going to look into if there's a way that the city can put together a database where the residents could log into the .gov page or the Facebook page and see what tickets have been generated and their statuses. That would alleviate me from sending emails out.
Listen, I don't mind you sending emails, by the way, but we have a resident that's very big on data. Her name is Terry Ellis. I know she gets excited when I mention her name, so big kudos to Ms. Ellis. I know that we have like 2 or 3 programs that we're looking at for other things. So if that's a conversation we'll have with our city manager, I'll ask him to see where that's at. But I think that would be a great idea. As long as there's no legal ramifications and we're not disclosing people's actual addresses or whatever it is. I guess we just have to cover the legal basis on some of that. So.
Okay.
I'm not going to say anything this morning, but
Please, you're here to talk. Tell me.
there are 2 very short things. One is the dog park. Got a lot of people that use it, but the latches on the gate are very poor. It takes old people a long time to get in and out. Number 2 is the bathroom. One is locked, one isn't. And I asked about it, and they said, well, we keep one for a spare in case one breaks down. So if you got a man and a woman that want to pee at the same time, one of them's up the creek. Okay? That's like going out here and
Usually those gentlemen will have to wait.
going out here and locking up one of these bathrooms and saying the same thing. And 3 is to save Deltona some money about getting sued. Is you have dogs out there that big bold. And old people like me have a tendency to follow them. Part of it's stupidity, I know. But I mean, you have old ladies that fall down. Had a dog last week running, fell down the hole, tore his ACLU, $3,000 to get it fixed. And that's in the Deltona Dog Park. And I'm just telling you that, just in case Deltona, somebody wants to sue Deltona. And the second thing is y'all put out all this money for these golden books, or did anybody get any of those?
Yeah.
Too many of them.
And nothing has been enforced in it. Nothing whatsoever. Just 2 short answers, just.
I will try to figure out the latch thing. I'll reach out to our parks director. As well as the bathroom thing, I know sometimes there's a reasoning behind it. I know one time somebody made a complaint in Dewey Booster, and when I called Mr. Manning, one of the kids had burned the trash can and burned part of the bathroom inside. So I'll ask to see what I know. There's some things that we're thinking about doing at the dog park. I know so we're doing different phases. I think we're now ready to approve phase 1. And then phase 2, it might have, because I'm trying to get something done at that dog park specifically. So for residents, where they can sit down on a bench, I would like to see the little statue that the Volusia County Sheriff said that they would be willing to give money for the canine that was killed, and build like a rainbow bridge, and where people can put the tags of their dogs that they lost. It'll probably get replaced every year or something like that. It's just something that I thought would help bring the community together.
They started that important slab and brought out all the stuff and cut down the trees, but for some reason they just quit.
Oh, I know why.
And they said it was the city that started.
Those politics. 100% politics. 100%.
What could they be against that?
Because it was my idea, and it was within the city manager's purview, and there's certain things that the city manager can say, you know what, because this is really a project that does benefit the community, they can, go ahead and run with it if they think it's a good idea. If it's too controversial, then they can bring it to the commission. How controversial should it be that the Volusia Sheriff's Office wants to team up with the city to build this essentially a memorial? The closest memorial that was actually wiped away, I believe, in one of the floods is in Texas, or was in Texas. That was the closest memorial, which was a rainbow bridge. People would go in there and put their dog tags, and it's just a regular bridge over this little retention pond over there, and national people would go visit all the time. It's no longer there. They lost it, so they're trying to rebuild it. So, for example, I can tell you an example of a different type of project that should come before the commission. I have an idea of seeing a glow-in-the-dark park. Again, Texas is the closest glow-in-the-dark park you can find. I think it's called La Jolla. And if we can combine that with like Friday night bikes where you get a bunch of food trucks, it could be a family event. We don't have a lot of this stuff. Parks and Recs and City Net, they're trying their best to do all these events, but little things like that will help bring the community more and more together. It's not really that expensive. LED lights are not expensive. So, let me go with City Manager on the code enforcement stuff. I know that the Golden Book was put out because a lot of people didn't know the rules, right? And it's not like they're brand new. They've been there for a while. I know that there's discussion of moving from a reactive to a proactive code enforcement. But it's like anything. That is the one issue that 50% will be mad, the other 50% will be happy. But we need to pick which one we want to do. We can't be.
Right.
Yeah.
There's one house at the corner of Elkham and Cooper. I think he's running his business out of his house, because on weekends, there's 13 vehicles in that.
They're all over the place too.
So
Trucks, cars, everything.
So reach out to code enforcement. I will tell you, last year a state law passed that the state municipalities cannot restrict businesses from conducting a home. They cannot restrict a person from conducting a home-based business from their house. Now, they still have to follow the ordinances. Meaning, if you're allowed 5 cars in your property, you cannot have 15 or 13 cars or 6 cars or 5 cars and a half because one is missing an engine outside your house.
That happens to be one of the specific addresses in my email too.
Okay. I'm gonna go to this lady and then I'll go back to you if you had a question. Okay.
Okay, on Doyle and Cortland, there's that, it used to be a Winn-Dixie and then a furniture store moved in there and then they left. What are they doing with that building? Because I know it didn't have any air conditioning.
I don't know what they're doing with that building. That's because it's a private property. I can tell you that I've reached out to Sedano's because Publix won't build another Publix here for now. Whole Foods right now won't come to Deltona. They don't think we have a market. I think there's a Sprouts considering coming to Deltona. Trader Joe's, I have not heard from yet. But Sedano's, I've been trying to bring them because they have, that's a perfect place for another grocery store. I mean, if we bring in another furniture store like the one that was there, that we're gonna see what just happened. We need a good anchor store that can bring something to that area. I mean, look, Publix on Saxon, everybody loves that Publix in that area. They're gonna lose it for a solid 18 months to 24 months because they're gonna tear it down and rebuild it completely up.
Really?
Yes, and
The one that was the Albertsons?
Finland?
on
Yeah,
Finland and Saxon. So there's a very bougie style Publix in Palm Beach County where you can go in, you can sit down and do wine testing. They can do kind of like a Chipotle style burritos. So I'm assuming, I'm gonna say assumption, so I'm gonna get into trouble. That's what they're planning on doing. It's doing an upscale type of
When's that gonna
Publix.
start to do that?
Yeah. What?
Do you know when that's gonna start?
I'm not sure. I can try to find out. I know it's they've already went to the news and the news knows about it because I got a couple of complaints that they're gonna have to shop at Florida City for a bit.
Yeah.
5 miles down the road, I think they can handle it.
Yeah.
Okay, what about, the downtown, Deltona? What's the status on that?
I don't know if I should sit down for this. So it's in the consulting phase right now. So the people that were doing our 2050 vision plan, they got direction from the commission to move it forward to them, right? I think there is some differences of an opinion of what a downtown should look like, right? I can tell you from sitting down with many residents, some that are opposed, some that are very for it. And I think the majority of the commission agrees with this. I just think because we have so much inner fighting, we just can't put our differences aside. We want to see something like if you've ever gone to City Place in West Palm Beach. There's a lot of greenery, there's a lot of walkability, there's a lot of mom and pops and bigger restaurants. For example, there's a Cheesecake Factory across the street, and then on this side there's like 4 or 5 different mom and pop shops, burgers, ice creams. There is a section where they do like bands play in the outside with a bunch of tables all over the place. I suggest you guys look at it. And then where the Cheesecake Factory is, further down there's a Publix, and then above all of that, you have 1-2 stories of upscale housing. I mean, that's usually where doctors and people tend to live. Obviously, people live there, but I mean, people like from that profession in life. So, what's the status of it? Is under consulting right now. Yeah. So I'm doing my part. I'm trying to bring in the commercial part of it, and it takes time, you know.
Yeah.
Mainly because you have, for example, if I want a maternity children's hospital, right now, Advent Health, Halifax, they are struggling with getting doctors. And let's be sincere, like when I met with both of their directors, I told them, I know why you guys don't have doctors and you struggle with it, and you have, they're called traveling nurses, which get paid very good money. It's because you don't have an area where they can live. Like I told them, I bet you the majority of your doctors live either in Lake Mary, that very nice area over there, I think it's called Victoria Parks in DeLand. And it's very simple, it's because no doctor or nurse that works 13 to 18 hour shifts wants to come home and worry about cutting their grass, the water heater's broken, they want to come home, take a shower, be with their partners, go downstairs, have a bite, go back up and sleep for like 20 hours, who knows? We don't have that. You know, and I've worked my magic as much as I can. I mean, I have UCF very interested in probably a satellite campus for pediatrics, which it all gets combined. If you have a children's maternity hospital, you have a pediatric school next to it, they supply the residency, which would make your doctors cost a little bit less for them. But then the doctors get the experience that they need where they can go somewhere else and make a lot more money. But those are the only ways that we're going to be able to do it. Unfortunately, we do need some, and it's not housing, it's some type of mixed use. Because building more houses, that's not going to bring those doctors here. They don't want a house. They want a place where they, almost like an apartment where they can live upstairs and
Temporary.
Something where they don't have to worry, hey, can you come and fix my water heater? Great. I know I pay my fees and grass is getting cut. That's it. That's what they want to see. That doesn't mean all the doctors are like that. I know a doctor that has his own beautiful house and he loves that.
A question related to what you were just saying. Isn't that some of the plan behind the overall concept for the Halifax crossings right up here on Howland and Graves? That whole section that's going to be developed around the hospital there?
So that is essentially what we wanted to see, but essentially mixed use was put into that moratorium. That's why I kept voting against it. It was because we are going to now affect commercial.
So now we're shooting ourselves in the foot so we can't get it.
And it was done on purpose for politics. I will say that openly.
Okay.
Just put the name Trump on your back and be done with it.
I mean, listen, I fight against people, you know, this from my own party a lot of times. This whole SB 180 is a great example, right? I don't agree with portions of the law. They did some very stupid things in that law, right? But I also don't think that screaming at somebody and saying, hey, I'm gonna sue the hell out of you is gonna fix it. And scaring the residents to say that's gonna take 2 years, well, that's not true. In September, we have committee weeks start, and we can already have those conversations. Now, I mean, some of the people that I initially had meetings with have canceled their meetings because they don't know if they can have a discussion with me because we're in the middle of a litigation. So now you just got the mayor that's working with other mayors around the state you just took him and shackled him, and it's just, what can you do? So now all I can do is just send them my opinions and work on some edits that we're working on and see if they're willing to listen.
Yeah, the other question was, is there any update on the unfinished complex that was being constructed on Ellen Osteen Road behind the Publix and Lowe's?
Yes. So that, apparently somebody shared my email address. I gave it to someone on there. Can I share public? I said, yeah, I don't care. How can I say this without? Allegedly, it seems like it gives the illusion of, I don't know what other magic words to throw in there. The people are playing some type of shell game. I really don't know. I gave them the benefit of the doubt, and I supported them saying, okay, you need this, let's vote for it. This crap needs to get finished. I got an email not too long ago that stated, hey, great exciting news. We are now this corporation, and here's the new owner that's coming in, and we're co-owners, and you guys have no idea how much that pissed me off. Part of the language. I sent out an email to Doc, to our legal team, and I essentially said if the commission would be okay with it, I want us to foreclose on all that damn property. I go on the property appraiser's website to look up the property. There's a little thing on there which is public that says certified funds only, knowing that they bounced a check to us twice, tells me that they bounced a check to them. They haven't paid this year's property tax. So if we don't foreclose on them, somebody else is probably the property appraiser. So I sent them a very professional, because I'm still the mayor, I have to be professional, but very stern email on my disgust. And they keep blaming Duke Energy over one damn pole, and it's called not having accountability. So I am hoping that if they don't finish it, we can take it over, we can sell it off because we don't need to be in the real estate business, and somebody else that's more professional can finish it. That is what I'm hoping. Because as much as everybody wants to say, the whole, what it was, like 2-hour meeting that we had about the 500 some properties that were connected to that, I don't even think that closed. I think the people pulled out. So, and as soon as that passed, they took a trip to their country for like 2 months. Let me get her and I'll go back to you.
Okay, just 2 questions. One is, do you forecast any new businesses opening up on 415 by the Walmart? Anything? There's all that open land there.
I don't know right now. I haven't seen too much movement. The only person, so our economic development director has been one of the few people, well, that's his responsibility to bring jobs, but most of the folks are more concentrated on the other side of the city. So, and I'm more interested in filling up the areas that have already been cleared versus taking down more trees to put something we have cleared land already.
And the monkey sanctuary here in Deltona. You don't know we have one.
I do not know we have a monkey sanctuary.
That's what I'm talking about. Why doesn't the city assist them with promoting the monkey sanctuary? It's right off of Doyle and the 415. There's an older couple that takes in these monkeys. I've actually toured the
That could
facility.
be county.
That's county.
That's county. That's county.
Pardon me?
That's a county area. It's not Deltona.
Oh.
Or Osteen?
That's why I
Okay.
But I'm still gonna ask because now I want to.
Yeah, you can go and feed them, and
Oh, see.
it's really neat. The couple that, runs it, they run by donations.
Okay.
And you go and feed the monkeys, and they're pretty much they're monkeys that have been, retired, from performing either in circuses or different arenas. But, that was my question.
Quick one. I think you had an idea a while back about laying a secondary exit off of I-4, so that instead of coming right up on Howland, you go a little past Howland, maybe around the hospital, and then back into Cortland. And the main reason for that is because, look, I see every day people getting off of I-4. They come up to the racetrack there, and they're trying to get across 4 lanes of traffic to make a left-hand turn at the light, which really clogs things up. Then the only other place to make a left to get into that entire huge area back there is to go down to Catalina. And it's like we have traffic backed up all the way to the fire department. So I was wondering if you had heard anything about that?
I know the county, we just contacted the county to work on where Panda Express, Starbucks, and where Burger King's at. If we can work on improving that, so people don't have to go through like 4 lanes, or go, for some reason it takes folks a lot of effort to go to the light and then that. Here's what I'm envisioning, but I'm telling you right now, this is not gonna happen in the next 5 years. My hopes is that we get the Rhode Island extension done, right? So they're talking about an overpass. Great, I want the overpass. Once the overpass is done, I want there to be an interchange. I don't care, I'm not gonna fight the interchange now because they've already told me, not just no, but it's a hell no. I'm gonna get what I want first, let's get the overpass. Because my goal in that is if we can get that overpass and then an interchange so the actual trucks for Amazon can just go directly into Amazon instead of coming into Saxon or into the other part of, was it Howland? I'd be a happy camper. But right now we're just looking at the overpass. So I haven't heard the rest.
Okay. The only other thing was, if you get a second after this, take a stroll up that walkway up there. Every single flower from every single wildflower that you see there, from one end to the other, once you get past the parking lot, were compliments of me, 20 Girl Scouts, my grandchildren, and my nephew.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. I'll tap one more question and then
When is the Starbucks gonna open on Portsmouth and?
I don't have an answer to that. I don't, I'm sorry. They're all the outside is done. There's a little crane inside, which I don't know how they're, unless they have a bigger door, how they're gonna take it out. But the inside is not complete. So the inside is just wires hanging down and the flat, I guess the slab that's there. The outside is done, but the inside, they're still working on it. So I can try to get an answer. I'm going to assume another month, maybe, because they've been working on that Starbucks very quickly. So I know there's also another, I think Coquille Bakery is thinking of buying that old, I think it was called La Familia,
Oh, yeah.
right there.
They can have a bakery?
They're thinking of opening their other location there. So this is a great example of how a mom and pop shop can compete very effectively against a big corporate entity. So they're gonna be vibing off each other and kind of, gaining each other's people, because you're gonna have some people that like their coffee or their pastries, and then vice versa, some people that like their coffee but want to eat the pastries over there.
Mm-hmm.
So
What about this, the grocery store there on Howland, that just closed?
the what?
Save-A-Lot. Is Keys going in there?
So Key Foods is going in there. They I don't know if they've submitted a plan. I know I spoke directly to one of the owners, Tony, and he told me that he is trying to see if they can take advantage of that whole space in that plaza and to be able to go there, which would be great because right now it's blight, it's empty.
Yeah.
So, and I know they finally painted that plaza. Maybe it was a change of management, not a job at anything. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Grocery store, obviously, never heard of that chain.
It's actually